meeting to order at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Introduce ourselves.
Bob Porter, Human Villa.
Jeff Reynolds, Morrow County.
Joel Peterson, Port Morrow.
And Orem, Umatilla County.
JD Tubby, Confederate Tribes, the Umatilla Indian Reservation.
Want to go around here?
Jerry Simpson, Port Umatilla.
Congratulations.
I would work IRZ Consulting. Andy Lindsay, Anderson Variety Services.
Lisa Middlesdorf, Port Morrow. Evan Hendricks, Port Morrow.
Jared Reedman, Port Morrow.
Griffin Beach, Outdoor Media.
Okay.
Emily Collins, CDA. It looks like we have Elizabeth Howard.
Good afternoon, Elizabeth Howard, attorney at Schwabe and attorney for the CDA.
Barrett Orson.
Barrett Thorson with the East Oregonian.
Ryan Groff.
Ryan DeGroff with Business Oregon.
And Kelly Jordan.
Aaron Pomp with City of Oregon.
Okay. Okay, we'll come to the public comment period. Is there anyone signed up? Hearing none, we can move on to the consent agenda. Is there anything, questions or anything we need to move out of the consent agenda?
Nothing I want to move out, though, just my comment, there's one set of minutes, I had a couple of minor corrections I passed in, one was like a typo, and one was changing a Ms. to Mr.
Okay,
Very minor. With that, I would move for approval of the consent agenda as presented. Well, with the corrections noted.
okay.
Second.
Jeff has moved and Bob has seconded to approve the consent agenda with some corrections. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. And we move on to informational reports, director's update.
Yeah, do you want me to go through each item or I said you do not have any other questions? Everyone's fine.
Well, I think we should go from one at a time. Yeah.
So first we have bank account signers and credit card. We just need to sign this now through the units and I will get the applications for the credit card and they will update it.
Now, who's signed, who needs to sign?
You do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have a potential conflict of interest.
Okay.
I don't think it's an actual one, but I have a potential one with the Bank of Eastern Oregon. I don't know how. Maybe someone else should sign it,
Yeah, we can have the vice chair.
vice chair. Okay. And office and document storage.
Yeah, so we're moving out of the CDA office. My plan right now for all the documents currently stored at the office is to put them into an igloo. On the utility county side until further direction to do otherwise, and then all electronic files are currently being moved over to a drive storage as our current system that was owned by the previous executive director expires on March 16th.
Okay. So on that, I don't know how the files are now, it's on plastic tote or just what they are, in a cardboard box. And not having seen, but I would assume that out there in the old email side, the CDA owns a bunch of like office type equipment, don't they? And I'm not looking at Lisa because she has seen the list in the past. If there's filing cabinets or something out there, maybe that would be a good use of one or two of those to put the CDA files so that they're making something a little bit more secure than just a cardboard box or something.
Definitely, and I can work with Lisa.
And Emily, we're going to be remodeling the office space down there, so we don't feel like downtown out the end of the week or anything, but they can be moved around a little bit. Yeah. We haven't even got our plan for it, yes.
Perfect, yeah, I was waiting for a little bit of muscle, so I think it's to help you that stuff.
Okay, now there was some concern on the board about this. Does everyone consider that to be about adequate, but good steps taken? Secure the documents?
I am, I think that with the,
Okay,
nature of what the igloos are, that they should be pretty secure and,
uh-huh,
you know, not chance of moisture or anything, the way they're constructed, especially if you are able to find a filing cabinet to put it in, just a little bit more protection.
okay, we want to the BRAC audit requirements.
So I had a call with the branch over Brad on February 4th, just introducing myself and seeing how we were doing with all the requirements for the audits. And the 2023 audit was submitted at the end of last year, and it's under review with their team, but so far they don't have any concerns. And I let them know our schedule with the 2024 to 2025 audit due to our auditors tax season and delay getting that 2023 audit done. She didn't want to start the other one, so that one was approved by the board. And so that next one will be started as soon as tax season is over. Hopefully submitted before the end of this current fiscal year, so we can roll right into the next one.
When is tax season over?
She said by May 1st.
Back there, it's about off, okay.
Yeah,
Ah,
I asked for that in writing for Mr. Ramsdale, but I have not yet.
okay. So they're not, BRAC's not asking for
No, they're not having.
At this point.
He said that they're comfortable with our timeline.
timeline, okay? And you're, well, I saw a report on the board, Manerigan Rural Fire Protection District litigation, of which we're not actually a part, right?
Yeah,
CDA is.
we don't really have an update. I just noticed that it was a
Uh-huh.
frequent update that was on the previous board agendas, and so I just think that
Yeah.
everything is kind of in their revolving report right now, and we don't have an update.
Think I've heard it's in the mob, the legal system. May take a while. So. Third project,
Yeah, so
UEC funding, where are we at?
Yeah, so Josh Burns, he actually, he's not on right now, I think he might be able to join us later, but they requested a cold harvest agreement a few months ago, which I believe was drafted by our legal counsel or Greg, and now they have it, UC has it with their. As soon as that's approved, the funding will be available to us. But as far as he knows, there's no issue with the funding. And
Okay, good.
it's squared away on that kind of stuff.
All right, good news.
Yeah, it's same with ODOT funding. The Fort Memorial wired us a payment and then we wired it straight out to Tapani. And as soon as that confirmation of it being submitted to Tapani went through, I reported to ODOT and they approved the reimbursement request and now they have a check in the mail to us. Hopefully to be received as soon as possible, but
Check is in the mail.
check is in the mail and then the funds will go back out to Fort Memorial.
Okay,
And that's my.
now, that's on further on in the agenda, and we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. And a road project, speaking of that, Myers,
Thank you so much. On the road, I have two reports. One on the road project is well number 4 and 5.
okay,
I'm going to give you a background because, so it's a 6.2 miles of road to be built. It start from I-82 and end of in the Morrow County, the western fence of the boundary of CDA. Anderson Perry is our engineer for overseeing all the design and construction. Tapani was selected, and their contract is $8.4 million. And the total project cost, including construction and project management and surveying and so on, is $11 million. To date, we have spent $2.2 million, which the construction started in November of last year. We anticipate the construction to be completed by 2026. So it's going,
that's this year.
This year, yes, sir.
Good.
So we better get all of you on this site, to take a look at the progress report. Emily can work out with you, we'd be more than happy to show it.
Okay.
I just have some, our engineer, and project, engineer type. Lord from IRZ to give you a little bit of an update, and also Andy Anderson from Anderson Paper.
Okay. So Taffy is currently installing the geogrid and base rock on the portion of the road west of Cedar Street, which is the OMP entrance. They've made quite a bit of progress on that. They have one of the lanes completely rocked and I believe the second one done. They're expecting to reach Cedar Street on that portion next week. And then Lumen, who is, has fiber going into OMB, they're gonna be rerouting that fiber, the first of next month, so here coming up next week. Once that's rerouted, Kathy can finish the subgrade construction east of, the entrance. We've been out there, there's kind of a hill that doesn't really tie in with the road. They're waiting for that fiber to be relocated so they can finish that subgrade work and then start on the geogrid and the rock base on the east side. Most of the ancillary roads that connect into the existing roads, those have already been geogrid that's been placed and rock there. So they're making really good progress moving on. Expected to begin in May, and currently we're ahead of schedule and on time.
You have anything to add to that?
I think Todd's covered it, yeah, that is doing great, moving really quick, so.
We really appreciate all the work, that, Anderson Perry make, and also our close collaboration with our office to make sure we are on budget and timelines met. We don't see lots of issues. The only thing we are dealing with, and Commissioner Schaefer and yourself been very, very helpful on helping us with the Umatilla County. We met with the county planners that we have a little bit of permitting that we are working through, but there's no stopping at this time. The collaboration is very, very good.
Good.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, real quick, Fred, I know it's not a big deal, but at some point, can we kind of schedule time for our public works director to sit down with the contractor to make sure that everybody kind of has knowledge and where the as-built will be and all that type of stuff?
No, that's a good point. Emily's been really active and really happy. She's doing a great job. We have this morning with Elizabeth and the county planner, we had a meeting this morning. We have a weekly meeting with our construction and all of our engineering, everybody have a weekly meeting. Everything is discussed, so we make sure we are on, and the same thing with the ODA. ODA has been really great to work with them. We are very pleased, to be honest. Yeah, we have all of that under control, weekly meeting. We are on top of it at this time. But yeah, if any of you have any questions, as I said, at some point, maybe later on in March, April, May, having you guys go take a look at it with us, that would be fun.
It would.
Lisa?
Or tomorrow, would like to join her as well.
Yes, ma'am. We'll make sure, and we will definitely. If there's no more question on the road. So CDA has a well 4 and well 5. The Oregon military has been running it, maintaining it. And so we had couple meeting with them one last week. They are no longer wanna use it or maintain it. So they like to use it only during, it's all valved up, and they wanna use it during fire, potentially emergency. The wells are non-potable at this time by Oregon Department of Health. So can we make it possible potentially, but you know, it's old wells. So, so we are accommodating them as far as the use of for emergency management, emergency time, fire and so on. We'll work through this. The, the thing that we need to do after the boundary adjustment is made and agreement is made is potentially going to go to the Port of Morrow or Morrow County, whatever agreement you have. So those two should be considered at a later time. Emily, you want to add something to that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when will that happen? Is that in the
They're wanting to hit it off, I think, as soon as possible.
possible? Okay.
Yeah.
Is Tapani using them for, compaction and dust control and stuff?
Currently, yes, that's the only use for those two wells right now is the Tappan is using for construction water.
Are the wells on the Monroe County side?
Yes, sir.
What type of wells are they? I mean,
Pardon me?
what type of well is it? I mean,
Hi.
how do you access the water? Do they have pumps and?
Yeah, they're vertical turbine pumps, soup pumping groundwater wells, both are inside of, heated buildings. Then go into some
Okay,
piping underground, and then there's a water tank as well that's associated with our system that's on the market.
thank you.
This is a decision that you all can make, you know, when and if that's transferred to again, Morrow County or Portomoro, or it's your choice, we could upgrade it and, because it does need to be upgraded, it's really old and some components has to be upgraded to meet the new regulation, but it's operational.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you. Is there anything else? Or
There's just two wells that are operational on the total property? There's 4 wells, but only 2 operational, is that right?
There are quite a few other wells. And we have an MOA on this that would probably be worth everybody refreshing memories on. And we had pretty extensive conversations with the Army about this and about the transfers. So Emily, I'll help you find that information so we can kind of circle back up on that.
Thank you. Thanks.
You haven't, Commissioner Doran, you just haven't gone too far because of the agreement.
Yeah.
Once that is done, then you can give us some direction, what do you want to do with it? That's the decision needs to be made. We will be more than happy to help that. What to do with those files.
Good, any more on the director's update?
So before we move off the road stuff, I just want to say thank you to the port for stepping up and getting the funds so that we can pay Tapani, so we can keep them on schedule, because contractor doesn't get paid, sometimes the contractor doesn't work. So
Absolutely.
again, thanks to the port for stepping up and getting that paid, so we can keep progress moving.
Okay, you're welcome. It's on the agenda here
Okay.
again, so. Okay, we'll move on to the work session. The workers' comp insurance quote, is this safe? Is that right?
Yes,
You're safe?
yes.
And
It's from Swanson Insurance, which is our current insurance provider. And, just the approval, if you'd like us to move forward with it. I heard this, they also recently received our EIN number yesterday.
Okay, great.
Yesterday, and so once we receive approval of the state and of the state quote, I can move forward and also if we receive approval of the contractor, the new contractor or bookkeeper, I can ask her to setting up the table.
Okay, well, cool. So all the steps are in place for that.
Yeah,
I mean-
Elizabeth and we're working on changing the address on the PIN registration, but we have the number and that's a simple change. So.
Change, okay.
all the steps are in place.
Okay.
And the other thing, Morgan Saves, I know we talked about that for the retirement. It's kind of a weird system. You have to apply for a code to be mailed to you. And then once you receive that code in the mail, then you can access their website to officially apply to use that program. So that's been done. I'm just waiting for it.
Okay. I'll be glad to report that next board meeting.
Yeah, Elizabeth, do you have anything extra on that?
No. Just again, accolades to Emily for getting that done really quickly. So,
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions on the insurance quote?
Yeah, do we need action on this?
Yeah, we wouldn't mind reviewing it or if you would go with it.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve payment for the workers' comp insurance. Okay, move, is there a second?
I will second.
Jeff seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, under the bookkeeper contract, do we want to just look at the proposed or?
Yeah, I approved the goals just for reference,
Uh-huh.
and I know there was some question on hours she currently works, and the increase with the new agreement isn't necessarily just reflecting the increase in the local, that would be simple, it won't add too much to her plate. But right now, we are using her a lot more than we originally thought we would, when we contracted her originally, and as she's doing the implementers for us, a lot of processing, a lot more processing invoices than we originally anticipated and maintaining all of our products. So ties into that additional 15 hours listed. Sorry about that.
So.
Well, I guess it does anticipate 15 hours initially, but
It is covering up to 15 hours, yes.
yes. For some reason, I thought it was originally 10, but
Has she been exceeding 15 now?
she has this month.
Okay.
Yeah, and previously we haven't messed with the table. Getting the originally set up, since we increased the amount we were previously doing.
Do you think that will slow down a little or?
It might slow
we
down,
not
and then we'll go into the audits, and so they're gonna go back up again.
Okay, is this enough?
I
Believe so,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, so that's kind of my question is that if we were paying for 15 hours before and we're doubling the amount that we're paying her,
Yeah.
then maybe it's not doubling the hours, but no, I would think that we should be getting more hours for the increase in pay.
Okay, uh-huh. We market for what we were paying her for the 15 hours in the first place, is that what that about? Or is there, was there any discussion on that with, well, contractor?
I'm not sure, honestly, I thought that our original one was less than 15 hours, so I guess
I think they're both 65 an hour.
So it's $1,000 for 120 hours for, 60 hours a month.
Oh, I see.
It was 1,000.
It was 1,000. It's 2,000 per month.
For 15
That's
hours.
two.
Yeah,
Yes, got it.
okay.
That's what I assumed. The original was 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
$1,000 for
Yeah.
15 hours, yeah.
So do we want to change the hours?
I think Melissa had a question.
Oh, good.
I just wondered if we thought about going out for a request for proposals for the service. And is your current bookkeeper available now anytime during the week?
she is available on Friday afternoons. But I mostly work with her on evenings and weekends, which has not been an issue for me, but that's okay for the. She owns a consulting company, but also works full time, so she does do this in her evenings and weekends.
Uh-huh.
And one of the reasons why we were invited to this, and I heard the first place, it was really hard to find somebody that was willing to contract with us a couple months ago. That might change now.
That'd be nice. What does the commission would like to do with this?
My own, again, I'm the backup here, but my kind of thought was it would be nice to have a little bit of consistency for a little bit, whether it's a
Yeah.
3-month contract or a 6-month, and then go out. Because I think you guys have been pretty satisfied with what she's done.
I've been really pleased with the work and, we are getting into a really nice routine.
And if you gave it 6 months, then you would at least have some kind of rhythm and know what's needed from here forward. Just a thought.
You know, if staff has been happy with, the scheduling and the work being put out, in favor. Don't have any problems with that. It's just that if we're paying more, some number of hours, so that we should get more hours for more pay. Because, you look at the scope of service, we're asking more of them. So that would directly translate them more time than she's gonna have to have.
Yeah, I don't argue that at all.
Don't want us to be getting into the overtime provision immediately with the increase in scope of service. So I don't know, if, 25 hours for 2,000.
It's probably the best way to go.
Yeah. It sounds to me like that was maybe overlooked. Maybe, you're not sure exactly what the hours were before and now maybe, like said, she's got a bigger workload, so she's gonna be working more hours.
I guess just to move it along, I'll make a motion to approve the contract as written, and with the exception of moving the 15 hours to 25.
I'll second.
Okay, been moved and seconded to approve this contract with 25 hours, covering up to 25 hours. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Transfer of property to member.
Yeah, this, I would like to hand over to Elizabeth and she's comfortable with that.
All right, thank you, Emily. So just the sort of short update on this is that we have been working at Schwabe and with Emily and also IRZ just to sort of evaluate what we need to do as far as next steps to do the property distribution. So the short version is that we have some more work to do on the land use side on Umatilla County. We're still trying to figure out what the optimum approach is on that to also make sure that we don't run into issues with getting the road fully approved from a land use perspective in a timely manner. We want to make sure that is also moving along. We had a very productive discussion about that this morning. We will likely need to circle back around with the Port of Umatilla and Umatilla County, maybe JD, the tribe, but as to just kind of how we're going to move forward. We have one final line that does need to be adjusted on the Umatilla County side to accommodate the transfers to Umatilla County and the Port of Umatilla. So that is in process. I anticipate we will be reaching out to have conversations with the appropriate parties about that and that configuration in the next 30-ish days. On the Morrow County side, we also need to have a conversation with the Port of Morrow about plans for land use. Lisa and Joel, Emily is going to be working on reaching out to have a conversation about that so we can get the land use process started on Morrow County side. Hopefully we'll get that meeting scheduled in the next week or two. And then bigger picture, as far as the actual transfers, we need to amend. You'll recall that we already have a fully executed purchase and sale agreement between CDA and the tribe. We do need to make some amendments to that some of that relates to the Cleaver Farms transaction and just updating payments between CDA and CTUR and how we're handling that. You guys will maybe recall there's an agreement that the tribe will get half of the proceeds of the Cleaver Farm sale. CDA will have the other half, so we need to address that in that agreement. We need to update closing, just some other small minor amendments, I would say. And then we're going to need to wait for the land use approval before that transaction can be closed. As to the other transactions, what I'm proposing is that we use the CTUIR purchase and sale agreement as sort of a prototype to work off of for the other transfers. Just because then we'll have a pretty standardized approach, it'll be very similar. I think that purchase and sale agreement is very solid. That will require us working with the two ports to unwind, if you will, the purchase and sale agreements that were signed that then led to the litigation. Those would have to be amended anyhow, but I think it's just going to be just a lot less complicated to start with a clean slate. Those purchase and sale agreements that were signed previously are much more complicated than they now need to be. So that would be our recommendation and likely approach. We'll need to have conversations again with the lawyers for the partners on that. And then hopefully the issues that will be outstanding that we'll need to work through sort of collectively are easements, and just kind of figuring out what that configuration is going to be so everybody has access to utilities and roads and parcels the way they need to. So that will be an overarching conversation we need to have in the near future. We need to get a little farther down the road on that. And then, of course, everything will be sort of contingent on land use approvals. But I think this is the most efficient way to move forward, the most cost-effective way, and it'll also be consistent between all of the partners that are receiving the distribution. Again, we're starting to work on setting up those conversations with the partners, between CDA and the partners, probably mainly with your lawyers, just because it's, we'll be talking about documents and agreements, but that's in a nutshell where we're at right now. Cleaver Farms, on Cleaver Farms, that transaction also needs to close. We're still waiting on land use approval to do that. That one's kind of on an easy pathway forward. How we get to closing is spelled out in the existing agreement we have with Cleaver Farms. So we had that sort of teed up and ready to go, but have just been waiting on the litigation to resolve and now the land use to get done. And we are very close on the land use approvals that I think we're going to need for the Cleaver Farms transaction. That is because that parcel will not be affected by the further changes that need to happen to convey property to Umatilla County and the Port of Umatilla. So that one and the transaction with the tribe may close and be done sooner than the other ones.
You kind of have a timeline, Elizabeth, or an estimated by?
Yeah, well, so much of it is going to be contingent on timing with land use. So I think high likelihood that this will be done this year, but I probably can't be more specific than that right now, Dan. So.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, is there any update on or give us where we are on the process with the Liz pendants?
I do not have that update. I think Emily may have more information. That is Umatilla County Council is handling that. So, or Dan, you might have information on that. I know it's in process.
I mean, I can tell a story and get away with it. I think it's all taken care of because I know I signed off on the check and all of that stuff last week, so.
But that has to be completed before the property transfers can take place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
relief.
that will, I mean, it is already in process. That is gonna be done
So
long
that's not gonna be an
before.
issue.
Yeah, it's not gonna hang us up,
All
I
right.
don't,
Thank you.
yeah.
Lisa has a comment.
Okay, oh,
Questions, I always have questions. Elizabeth, can you talk about the land use changes that need to be made on the Memorial
Yeah.
site? What does that entail?
Um, not with a lot of specificity right now, Lisa. I'm just, sorry, just a minute, I'm just looking for an email. Let me see what I can share with you on that. I think the main thing that we need to do there, so the conversation we need to have with county staff, and I know Tamara has reached out and said she's available to have this conversation, but the conversation we need to have is about relying on the existing unit of land boundaries to do the conveyance rather than needing to do a property line adjustment in Morrow County. So we were close to having those conversations, as you might recall, before the litigation was filed, but we've had some preliminary conversations, but not the more robust, if you will, conversations. So that's the next step with Morrow County.
so it's a property line issue?
Yeah, what we need to do is make sure that we have agreement with Schwabe's legal analysis that the pre-existing land boundaries will suffice for purposes of creating a legal lot of record that can then be transferred to Port of Morrow.
Okay.
And I think that's where we're going to land, but I just don't want to put words in to the county planners.
Okay.
But that's the kind of outstanding question right there, right now. And recall we had previously had one tract on the Morrow County side that was going to remain with CDA. That is no longer the case. So I think that makes the conversation less complicated in the sense that we don't need to create another, we don't need to do a lot line adjustment for that. So.
Okay.
Any more questions? Thank you, and
Yeah.
move on to property inquiries. Agenda.
Yeah, so we've received a few inquiries from different companies interested in looking at the CPA over the last few weeks. That and then this attached letter of support from utility county is just an example of something that we've also received a request for. And so my question to you is a property inquiry something you want me to send out to the future landowners individually, or are those conversations you want me to facilitate, or how would you like me to handle those?
Good question.
Yeah.
And an important one. I just off the top of my head, you want to report it to whoever's going to own the land next. Yeah. Forward it to them, and that would be the governing body. It wouldn't be the CDA board member. It would be, wouldn't it?
Well, in our case,
your case it is.
the economical liaison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so if I could, I'll reach out and ask everybody for their.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, okay, the youth kind of letter of support, do we still want that? It's after the date.
Of course, actually, we would love to still have it for tomorrow. What that is, you want some background on that?
Sure.
What that is Umatilla County, City of Umatilla, City of Hermiston have teamed up to apply for a planning grant for the extension of Pumpkin Center across the Umatilla River into I-82. More of it's a two-way bypass, traffic in Hermiston, obviously, and then also the traffic leaving because of the freight distribution of people there. It's a request for, I think it was 2.9 million total. The 25, it's a 20% match that Hermiston, Umatilla, and counties will be taking, the county's taking the lead on the application. Strictly a planning grant at this time. Even if we receive it, the planning will probably wouldn't be done another 4 or 5 years. And ODOT, Anderson Perry, and then the 3 partners have all been involved. All we're asking for is the support for the planning grant. We have actually almost 28 support letters now. Everything from our congressional to our state legislators and stuff. So yeah, we would love to have a support letter from the CDA.
Okay. Any discussion? Or
So I would actually move to have Emmett Collins as the interim executive director to sign the support letter from Umatilla County for the bridge project to the Secretary of Transportation.
sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did we get JD?
Aye, sorry about that. My.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay, now policies and procedures. This is kind of at my behest. I think we need to start looking at policies and procedures systematically, 1 or 2 a meeting, and take action on it. Actually vote. And then I think the conflict of interest policy. For this a bit of a hot topic. Do we need to wait for executive meeting to talk about this, or? Oh, we lose Elizabeth.
You didn't, sorry, I was just trying to get to unmute. Yes, we could certainly talk about these policies in executive session first if you'd like to.
Or what does the commission like to do?
Well, maybe jump down and do the other stuff.
The other stuff and come back.
Do the executive session and come back and if
Okay.
we're approve that after the executive session.
Okay, we'll move on to financials and the budget report.
Yeah, so, Teresa and I had a conversation about wanting to see our budget versus our actuals since they're quite different. And I worked with the bookkeeper to put that together, and that's what I put together, so I don't know if you have any questions or if you'd like to see something different.
Mr. Chair, one of the questions that our board brought up, and it probably would be good information to have in developing the budget was to come up with an accounting of the member contributions. There's, you know, throughout the litigation, there was a lot of discrepancies there, who gave what and when and how much, and if we could maybe for a future meeting, come up with an accounting of that to kind of balance that out among the members. And then budgeting going forward, come up with, what we can expect, that we as each of our boards need to budget to fund the CDA going forward. Just to kind of get everybody on a equal playing field before we do that, so.
Some of it's not for going forward, but for getting to where we are.
I was thinking maybe for a future meeting to maybe come up with.
I agree.
Reconciliation on that and accounting, so we can all.
And at this point, is everyone gonna be willing to support their shares, and what would you need, what would you want to document what your share is? I think we've gone over this a couple times, but yeah, what do we need to get going on that again?
I think we already received an invoice, right? Emily, we said that we just paid that.
We just paid that.
Was that for the attorney fees?
I think that was a 53,000 or 50 something.
Okay,
That would be just contribution to the general budget.
okay, so maybe, yeah, that would be the part of what we need to do.
Morrow County did some of that, the legal fees.
No, that was the invoices that have been submitted to us. And
The court.
so it was a quarterly payment.
Oh, it was, okay.
I think some of us were giving monthly and some of us were doing quarterly, and so it's kind of
it would be nice to see that laid out separately, maybe,
Separately, each room
Yeah.
is much.
because I mean, it's kind of on here, but you gotta go wander through.
Yeah. While we're on this, I wanted to mention, we can start having budget committee meetings for the next.
Yes,
budget.
we have, as I understand it, we don't have to do the full-fledged budget. We can actually just do it ourselves. Work on a budget ourselves. What would the group like to do? Would you like to do the full-fledged for this budget time again? And the new budget we come up with is gonna be quite different than this one. So how does the group feel about that?
I guess I didn't quite understand. You're saying whether to involve the budget committee or not to involve them?
Yeah, I'd love to involve a budget committee. We can do it, as I understood it last year, we found out we could actually just do our own budget. We don't have to go through the process of two meetings and so on and so forth. We can just do it ourselves.
Oh, without the public comment
Without-
period and that.
But yeah, without the public, but it would be in public that we.
No, no, I get it.
Yeah, I'm not,
The process.
I'm just the process. Do we want, is it better to do the more public process? Anyway, we need a new budget.
So as long as we get a legal opinion of that we can do the pared down process, that we don't have to have the budget committee. Because what you're saying is, don't think that we have to have the budget committee and then make a recommendation to the full board to do it. You think that the full board can do the budget process. As long as we get an opinion that says that we don't have to do.
Okay, I just remember last year that it came up a lot. Is there, Lisa, do you remember that, or was that a?
I do recall, like, I was looking up at
Oh.
Elizabeth to see if she was gonna,
I think I have a notice from the Department of Revenue from last year when we talked about this board budget committee started, and I can pull that so now.
Okay.
Is that, there's something about the dollar amount that you're doing and stuff, I mean, because
Yes.
special districts with the dollar amounts and. Certain departments.
Yeah, it will fit directly into having to follow the state guidelines, but we can if we want to.
Yes.
So. I think, yeah.
But we kind of, this is February, so.
so, and so you recall the year before last audit report, the original one had a audit finding for failure to have a budget. And then when they got the letter from the Department of Revenue, the auditors revised the report to indicate it was not required, therefore it wasn't finding.
Or we could start the budget process and declare the date and budget officer, is that, that's not.
I don't know, we did form a budget committee and,
Yeah, they had one last year.
I don't know if that's, I don't know.
But the budget committee did all that. And then it was not adopted for like 6 or 8 months.
Yeah. Well, it'd be different this time.
Yeah.
So we don't have to make the decision today, so maybe
Okay.
we can have Emily reach out to Department of Revenue, work with Elizabeth. Get something writing, the process that we have to do.
We have to do,
That'd be my recommendation.
unless we just want to go ahead with the more public process. I'm not sure. Was that what you'd prefer?
It's up to you guys. I'm gonna add a second stringer question here. Hopefully not to stir up a whole lot. My question is, in your discussions with the feds, is there an opportunity to reapply for the grant? And if there is, what does it take? I mean, what kind of budgeting would it take for that?
So in my conversation with Mr. Ramsey, he actually said that the program was shut down and all money was pulled. We were not the only ones who lost our funding, everybody did.
So like Gorilla lost to everybody.
Everybody.
At the OLDCC.
The old BCC, it
Okay.
completely closed the program. And so
Oh,
he wanted us to know we were not the only ones that.
Okay, but to expand that question, if we were to apply for a federal grant like the county is, or other grants, whether it's an opportunity grant with the state or whatever, what And maybe that's a question, like,
Well,
that can be answered down the road.
Does the BRAC have a grant program or anything?
I'm not aware, but I think due to that, I have not yet.
I'm just curious, I just didn't, I want to make sure that any option that's available, we don't want to miss it because we changed policy.
Okay.
Lisa had her hand raised.
Oh, Lisa.
I just, a couple things. We knew when they pulled our funding that the whole program was going away, so they did tell us that then. So we've known that for a while. I just wanted to talk a little bit about our budget. I think it's okay if you want to have a budget committee. When you're adding 5 people to a room, I don't think that that's a big problem. But just remember, the budget will look a lot different in the years going forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Kurt, you wanna wait till next meeting to decide this?
Find out what is required, I mean, but
Yeah.
we all have enough meetings to attend. If we don't have to attend extra meetings, let's not attend extra meetings. I mean, the budget's gonna be in the public process, whatever, but
Whichever way we do it, it'll be public, yes.
yes,
Uh,
but to have an extra meeting just for the sake of having an extra meeting does drive my crank.
okay, would that work, Emily? Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead with that. A couple items, so that would be, would it be this, and also to talk about shares and obligations of members and where we're at. Did you look at that next meeting?
Yeah, let's get a list of.
Okay.
Every contribution from.
Okay, so now we move on to the road construction line of credit. Tomorrow does not want to do it anymore. Hoping someone else would step up to do it, or we can get a loan. JD, have you found out any more about getting a line of credit?
It's a little bit more complicated for us than others, I think. So I think it's I don't have anything concrete other than just kind of like we need more information. So I think that might be one thing I could get from board tomorrow is what your terms and what and all that stuff is. I floated it to our CFO, floated it to the board, and they were just kind of like they just want to see how the water settles out, I think, with the CDA first. So
Okay.
yeah. My next one-on-one with the board on this is not until like the 11th of March. So I have a work session scheduled with the board mostly to settle our debts. And so I know we have our back pay for last year, so I need to get that money appropriated. So I won't be able to have any definitive answer on that until after the 11th.
Okay, thank you. I guess, let's see, anyone else? Utility County?
I can look into it.
Okay, I mean, I
I
think
can't make an answer right now, but.
we're showing there's pretty solid agreement that we've had for tomorrow and CDA agrees to. And then if ODOT can wire the money instead of mailing a check, it might even be quicker. The turnaround, but it might be just a few days, a week. That the money has to get, yeah.
We do it all the time. Still got that money in the bank.
I know, yes, yes, it's a lot, it's not a
Yeah.
small.
No,
sum.
okay,
Okay.
I'll definitely check.
I'll go after you guys, maybe.
I don't think that Morrow County needs, since we're not going to be a beneficiary.
I know. Okay, I need to say it again. All right, well. Can we leave it at that? I think there's a good,
Okay, yep.
okay. And the bank account?
Yeah, so the next item bank account was, I know that there is the possible conflict of interest with the base, making use of bargaining, we had conversations about signers and everything, and so with that, and the possibility of needing a line of credit from the bank, if we ever have to go down that route, with the conflict of interest, bank resource might not be our best option, and so I just wanted to see if there was any interest in moving to a different bank. I know there are a lot of banks that serve each of our towns, and so Yeah, I just wanted to ask.
I'll have to recuse myself.
Well, I can say that, there was the complaint filed against me when the state found that I had no conflicts of interest,
So neither did I had no conflicts of interest.
so I don't know.
Yeah,
And with, I mean, there are banks here, but I think that you start looking, all of us do business with the banks in the community, in one capacity or other. I mean, the Bank VO is not the only one that I have accounts with, so.
Definitely, I think I had a conversation with Elizabeth, I don't know if she had any other concerns.
Emily, can you say that one more time? Sometimes I'm not hearing you very clearly. I apologize.
I didn't know if you had any other comments on possibly moving banks or.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the other things we had talked about is now that CDA doesn't have an office, just having a bank that would have a branch in a location close to Emily. And just finding another sort of rural bank. And I think the other piece was just to, find a bank that didn't raise the issue about a potential conflict of interest. So those were the different things that we had talked about. And I don't know, Emily, did you come up with a list of possible other banks?
Yeah, and maybe Shirley does serve where I live too, so if you want to stay there, but if not, Banner Bank was one that I said. So.
And I have accounts there, so.
Oh, yeah.
You may have potential conflict of interest.
No, you don't.
I mean,
Even though somebody filed it,
ridiculous.
even though someone filed an ethics complaint alleging that the state found that does not create a
Okay.
conflict of interest.
All right. So if that's the case, is there a reason to change?
I don't think so.
is
Does
there,
of Eastern Oregon have a branch in Pendleton?
Yes,
Or, I'm
Yes.
sorry, not, in LeGrand?
they do.
That's why they call it back at Eastern Oregon.
Yeah, and I just wanted to ask while we were talking about land credit.
yeah, that's a good question, but it's interesting that you brought up another bank and then everyone has. Okay. Anything else? Any other? Is there any, I'd like to ask now if there's any commissioner want anything on the agenda for our next meeting. Now's a good time to talk about it. Just wondering.
I want to get that accounting of our.
Yeah, I just want things to, this, as I've said this once before, this is the only time we can take action, is when we're sitting here together. So we don't want to, if someone wants to bring something up, it needs to be at this meeting, so get it on the agenda so we can talk about it. Yeah, if we don't, well, yeah, it's frustrating it's been frustrating sometimes that we don't do anything, but we don't talk about it, so how can we do anything? Anyway. Feel free to add something to the agenda. Anything else for the good of the order? When is our next meeting? Is that a problem for anyone?
Not for me.
No.
I just noticed on your agenda, it still says 2025.
That's it. That's where I'm. Okay.
Yeah, listen. Okay, hearing nothing else, we'll move to executive session.
So you need to read this statement.
I know, I will. Okay. The CDA may hold an executive session meeting for the permissible reasons stated below under ORS 192.660, paragraph 2. Representatives of the news media and designated staff and other persons shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience will be asked to leave the room, or the CDA board may adjourn to another meeting room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision will be made in this executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. They are ORS 192.660, paragraph 2, sub F, to consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection, and ORS 192.6602H, to consult with legal counsel regarding the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed. Wait, are we back on?
You're back.
Okay, that would take action on the policy.
I would move that we adopt the media policy as presented, except for in paragraph 13, subparagraph A, to split the employee discussion from the board discussion.
Second. Okay. Then moved and seconded. Any discussion?
So I guess, so then under number 4, I guess we're agreeing that the authorized spokespersons will be the board chair, board members and executive director, or are we going to tighten that up, or how are we going to address who the authorized spokespersons are?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not excited about being the.
So,
But yeah, I guess that is the point.
Probably which should be
What?
the board chair.
The board chair or the executive director?
It's big pay, you know.
I know, yeah. Well, my standard no comment is not a good one, so.
Could you put one voice instead of the chair?
Sure.
no, I think that no, it's the one voice, the concern that was expressed is that then you'd have to wait for our whole meeting in order for.
Yep, make a comment.
And one thing about this is that the board or the chair, I think, could designate somebody to be an authorized spokesperson depending upon the topic. So
Okay.
I think you can exercise
Absolutely.
that authority, in different meetings. So this just, I think, gives you flexibility, but it does create that the final say is the board chair, and that is the policy. So the board is effectively speaking that, Joel, you're the final say, so long as you're the chair. You guys can change if you ever decide you want to change that. The other thing is that we do need to address the blanks in paragraph 5 too. We could either just take those out, the blanks, because you do define what is a sensitive or controversial issue down below, or you try to articulate what those are. But I would just suggest that maybe we just take out those blanks for now.
Absolutely. One subject may be routine this week, and next week that same subject may be intense. So I don't know how you define it. They're blank now, so the motion wouldn't have to change, right?
Yeah. There are no routine questions. Yeah.
Yeah, we could just take out that sentence that for purposes of this policy, routine media questions include the following subjects. We could just take that out just to make it look like it's a final policy.
Okay.
You want to suggest that as an amendment?
Yeah.
Go through the process.
Amend moving.
I move we amend the motion to strike that sentence for purposes of this policy. Routine media questions include the following subjects. To strike that.
As a motion maker, I accept that. And there's a second.
I accept the second. I'll second.
Okay. And was that your question? You had another one?
Look, well, it's just on 4, I mean, it
Yeah.
would. Is there, it seems like everybody's the authorized spokesperson. So are we narrowing that down to designate authorized spokesperson or
It could
persons?
be designated.
Yeah, we could
Works
add
perfect.
under paragraph 4B, we could say board members as designated by the board chair or
Okay.
board. Would that be?
But doesn't doesn't the paragraph underneath that cover that, where it says notwithstanding the foregoing, the board chair is the final authority?
It does, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
big shoulders for you, Joel.
Yeah. You're gonna have to work on it for sure.
Whatever he says.
Uh-huh.
My authority to have him say it.
Call for a vote?
Okay, is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carries, unanimous. Okay, oh, conflict of interest policy.
I move that we adopt the conflict of interest policy as presented.
I'll second.
Okay. Jeff seconded, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. And I'd like to have the date put on this when we have approved them. That be attached to the document.
I will take care of making sure Emily.
Adopted, yeah,
Yep.
adopted date. Okay, so. Is this something you want us to talk about?
Well, the question came up
Oh.
where we were at, and the paper that I handed out earlier didn't have any contributions to the CDA. And I could have possibly missed one, but from a quick look, it appears the Port of Umatilla paid 5 months at
Okay.
17,000 number. And which is 1 2/3 of a quarter, basically.
Right.
Okay, Port of Morrow has paid 2 quarters and Morrow County has paid 1 quarter. Okay, in the sheet that I gave you, I removed the legal expenses because I believe those have been determined through the settlement agreement. And so I left that out of the mix. I will tell you that Port of Morrow paid approximately half. Port of Umatilla paid approximately half. And if you're gonna share it 5 ways, somebody's gonna need to do the math, but that's the status on the litigation pieces. Okay, so this worksheet starts at the very top, it talks about the grant. There are still 3 parties that have not paid all of their matches on the grant. Thank you. So to move past that, you'll come down to the advance to CDA for the Tappanee invoices. And we expect to hopefully get that back later this week. Okay, then, we were asked to continue Emily's payroll, so the 2 payrolls in February. That's the amount, she has the detail backing that up. I didn't provide it on the sheet, but I would assume that we'll get a check from CDA for that amount. Everything else is when we just kept paying the bills. So we ran payroll from when the grant ended, February 21st, through January 23rd, when we had a payroll change. And those totals add up to $242,890. That $15,809 is so high because it includes all of Emily's accrued vacation, because we were treating it as a final check. Okay, so expenses that we paid for the February phone bill, and we'd already closed the grant out. We paid the $40,000 to Baron Leapman, who is the employment attorney that you hired. We paid Greg's visa bill, which was a Portamoro visa for a flight to DC. We paid some miscellaneous Google storage, Dropbox renewal, Google storage, post office box renewal. And then we have not charged anyone the lease for the office space that's been occupied since then, but that was that last month that we had already reported. So, what you choose to pay or don't choose to pay, that's up to you, but this is just kind of where we're at right now. This does not include any expenses that were paid with CDA checks. These are strictly for tomorrow checks.
Is this insurance that, insurance for the property or for, what was it?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, what's the insurance? The 7,200.
Well, that's probably in here by mistake,
Okay.
or it might not be by mistake, because you had, I have to look to see if that was our share of insurance,
I think they were
or if it was someone else's share that didn't pay it and insurance had to be paid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you might have covered.
I think that is, but without pulling the back up, I can't tell. Okay, so then back to the question that apparently came up while I listened in the room. I did have email correspondence with JD last June. It's June 6, 2025. And what I said, so there was a discrepancy between one of the quarters match and then what I had on my worksheet. And I said the $10,649.80 is for the first quarter of 24-25. So it was for April 1, 2024 to June 30, 2024. Debbie billed this at the time. This filing did include the retroactive pay adjustment that was paid the end of June. The next SF-270, so that's the form we filed with the feds to get reimbursement, was filed for the whole period from July 1, 2024 to February 21st, 2025. And there was a subtraction from those numbers for the entire amount of the retroactive pay and the entire amount of Debbie's accrued vacation that she was paid when she left. The port paid that. The port hasn't charged anybody for it. The port didn't charge the grant. I show proof to OLBCC. I have that available. If anyone would like me to send it to you, I certainly can. But we didn't charge anybody for the retroactive pay that we paid out. I'm sorry, I'm a little.
Thank you. Yeah, I was disappointed we got off topic, but thank you for that.
Okay.
And how do we get to zero?
I guess
obligations?
I have a question if I can. I had asked Emily to take care of the legal, and I wasn't sure. Apparently she was told by Elizabeth that that request had to come from the attorneys. Did I misunderstand that, Elizabeth?
I believe Elizabeth advised me that there would be an official amount from our attorneys to your attorneys for the amount owed by each member with the legal fees at the closing of the litigation.
I think that's already been handled. I think that that information was provided by email from Mario, who's the litigation attorney at Schwabe working on that. I think he shared that information by email with counsel for the litigation.
Okay, I haven't seen that information, but I will tell Port of Umatilla, you do have a refund coming on your share of the litigation costs. Because if you paid half and you only owe 20%, we paid half, we only owe 40% because they did take action to cover those.
Yeah, if there's further sort of bookkeeping that needs to happen, I wasn't aware of that. So Emily, if it sounds like maybe you need to take the information that Mario shared with all of the lawyers, and then are you guys asking for invoices?
That's what
I think it sounds like we need some coordination between Emily and the bookkeeper and
And Mario, I can have that conversation, and get you that tomorrow.
Yes.
I think just for my edification here on this two-sided sheet that you passed out, it says grant related owed to port, $95,670.29. Where's that number come from?
Okay, those are the matches for the grant. And Port of Umatilla paid in full, so there's a 0 at the bottom of that one. Umatilla County quit paying way before they filed lawsuit. So they owe 40,000. Morrow County just had that final bill of 22,431.26, and the tribes, they owe for an additional quarter, so they're 33,081.06. And JD, we're happy to visit with you at any time about that.
Okay, so my next question is on the back of this two-sided sheet at the bottom. It says expenses paid on behalf of CDA after grant termination, excluding the attorney fees, $295,110.95.
Yes.
That does not or does include the 95,000.
No.
Okay, so then on this sheet you passed out just later that lists post-grant contributions, $250,961. That you received from the Port of Umatilla, the Port of Morrow, and Morrow County after the grant.
That all went to CDA's checking account. That did not come to the port.
Okay, so that is not on this.
No.
Okay.
No, the other things that are not on that is,
So basically, this is a reconciliation of what is owed to the port.
correct.
And this is a reconciliation of what 1/5 of us need to equalize.
Is this for the,
This is just what is been paid to CDA.
for the calendar, for the fiscal year?
Right.
Well, it started in like April is when they came up with the new budget, I think.
So are these funds to reimburse the Port of Morrow? Or, yeah,
No,
No,
they
these funds are to get back to the 20% for each member
right,
to pay the CDA. This money went to the Port of Morrow
okay.
checking or account. Direct.
Yes.
This is helpful, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's not exactly what you asked.
No, but I kind
What
of get
got.
my head around it a little bit better. Yeah.
And don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call us. We will answer the phone.
And Madam Chair, and once again, I have a meeting in mid-March, about March 11th, and so I'll have our staff get a hold of you, Eileen, to get everything
Okay.
cleared out, because the intention is where, I mean, I know we have back payments. We wanted to get everything cleared out.
Imagine our finance probably needs to sit down, at least have a conversation.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you, again.
Anything else? Anything for the good of the order? Meeting adjourned. Thanks.